Will the spending splurge last until Christmas? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing the Christmas or the spending splurge to last until Christmas. Now this is one thing I've been talking about in other videos. We want to keep an eye on retail spending and see how it goes over this holiday period, because it is essentially going to determine which businesses survive and which businesses go under. Retail is a big employer here in Australia, and there are a lot of people dependent on that sector. Have you done your Christmas shopping, or are you like me? Has your wife done the Christmas shopping for the family? My Christmas shopping is pretty much silver coins. I bought a whole months ago, that I will just give to people as gifts. We do a secret Santa thing in the family where, everyone has to wrap up a present, put it in the pile for the grown-ups, and then you take one away. You get to pick a present. If you don't like it, you can swap it with someone else. And of course, my coin is just a tiny little silver coin. I put it in there, no one wants it. Except my brother-in-law, who works on a silver mine. And I've asked, he can't get it to me cheaper. Bastard. So there we go. Will there be a Christmas spending splurge? Or will it all be, buying silver coins and putting it in the pudding for people? NAB economists say spending splurge to last until Christmas. And this is by Gerard Coburn for news.com. NAB says the spending sugar hit will persist until Christmas, but tourism will continue to be hurt by the pandemic. Well, tourism's a $60 billion part of our GDP, a part of our economy, guys. It's a huge chunk of it, big employer, and it's really manifesting. Well, the decline in tourism is really manifesting here in Queensland. Up the coast, insolvencies and bankruptcies are growing, sadly. Economists at National Australia Bank say the post-lockdown spending sugar hit is expected to continue until Christmas. However, hospitality and tourism will wane while restrictions persist. Latest consumption figures for the country's largest business bank has revealed spending rose 5.4% year on year for the week ending November 7, largely off the back of easing restrictions in Victoria that have rejuvenated the country's second largest regional economy. Overall, weekly spending in Victoria jumped 7% and reflected the first week of hospitality and retail traders being able to resume operations. I really hope some people are able to pull their business, get enough work coming in, enough retail shopping coming in to keep their business going. Because we're seeing here, guys, the people who are feeling this recession, it's not going to be the civil servants who enforced all the lockdowns. It's not going to be the big multinational businesses or the huge brands like, Bunnings or Aldi or Woolies or Coles. None of the big boys. It's going to be the middle class. It's going to be the small family-owned businesses. They're the ones who are going to cop it. And the people who they employ. That's the sad thing. I'm hoping that people, they'll get enough revenue to keep them going, at least either to have a graceful closing down of a business that's going to die, or enough where they've cut costs, they've found ways to keep the machine going more efficient, they've got deals happening, and they can ride out through the recession. We'll have to see. Maybe I'm just being naive. I know there's some businesses that are going to hit it. Myself in business, when we lost a huge project, I finally had a chance just to sit back and realize, okay, I've got to look at what's going on here, because we were banking on, $500,000 in revenue from one job coming in. So I had to find some savings. And you can do that. It's a good thing. Sometimes you can come out of it, a lot leaner business. You find out what the dead weight is, where the money was flowing out, because maybe you just didn't have the time. That's a possibility in small business. At least that's from my own experience. Oh, and I've learned to be a penny pinching bastard now. It's fantastic. Hospitality consumption still remains at lower levels compared with the same period in 2019 due to ongoing restrictions limiting the number of patrons at venues. NAB chief economist Alan Oster said he initially expected gross domestic product, GDP, for the December quarter to be flat as a result of the tapering of stimulus packages, but flagged the recent uptick in consumption could be a sign of a more resilient economy. Or it could also be the fact that we've now had the job seeker bonus extended once again, and maybe people are loosening their purse strings, perhaps. I admit I went out and made some purchases that probably are a necessity. I've replaced my My phone, after several years where the home button wasn't working and I had to do all these other funny things. So Rachel thinks it was a necessity. I couldn't actually make a call on it, which I kind of see as a good thing, to be honest. I actually went, going off topic as I do, but I went about 2 or 3 years without a mobile at university. It was awesome. I didn't see friends for like a year and a half. And I said, just contact me on Gmail chat. Remember when that was new? But now, yeah, it's a bit hard. We're dealing with the worst recession since the Great Depression. But the medium-term outlook for Australia is pretty good, Mr. Oster said. Hospitality is starting to move up, but it's still a bit lousy. The problem is, we haven't really, at least in the Great Depression, well, you had intervention, but at the moment, the level of intervention we have is like no other. Do you think banks were giving people mortgage holidays and then not foreclosing on businesses for until a year later in the past? That's just going to kick the can down the road. So the problem is, the further they kick the can down the road, the harder the fall is going to be. Now's the time when businesses should be sitting aside, planning an exit strategy, either how to survive a recession, survive reduced revenue, or shut down. That's the strategies that people should be thinking about. The bad thing is going to be when businesses are dependent on the government subsidies. They keep running. They're trying to do the good thing for their workers to get them the job keeper, but then they're also accruing all of these other costs and expenses that they can't cover, and then maybe they get done. Maybe they can lose their home for it. Sometimes you've got to be a bit heartless in business because, particularly in small family businesses, your private property is often on the line too. Accommodation and food consumption for the week ending November 7th was down 2.9% in the same period in 2019, while retail trade consumption was up 12.5%. NAB head of small business, Alan Mirinkovic, said the reduction in the number of business loans on deferral due to the pandemic was a positive sign. However, the road to full recovery would not happen overnight. No, we're not having a V-shaped recovery. Any discussion of, quick bounce back is not going to happen. You may see it for some aspects of the economy, probably all the work from home set that the Deutsche Bank wants to tax. But yeah, some people are going to be in trouble here. We need to prioritize the recovery of small business as they are key to our ongoing prosperity, she said. For most of that diversified small business sector, I'm seeing very strong green shoots and the ability to recover. In some cases also, we've seen some businesses grow. Miss Marinkovic, I got it there eventually, Miss Marinkovic, noted travel, events and hospitality sectors continue to be the most impacted from the health crisis and would likely need ongoing support while restrictions persisted for the foreseeable future. See, this is the thing. You can plan, you can have contingencies in place, you can have insurances, you can have money set aside. But did anyone expect the government to have a lockdown like this, to force close so much of the economy? What worries me is that this now becomes the standard response. And we start seeing calls if, in 10 years' time, there's, bird flu Mark 3 or something, I don't know, coming around. There'll be calls from the public to lock down again. Mark my words, I bet you there'll be some idiots out there going, Johnny's got the call, close down, everything. And so businesses will start to have to factor that into their operating costs. Mr. Oster said the reporting of state borders before the reopening of state borders before the holiday season was imperative to injecting much-needed stimulus into areas of Australia that are reliant on tourism. If we don't open the state borders, that can cause a lot of grief, Mr. Oster said. If you're going to get everybody who was going to go to Europe to go locally, that would add about 1% to GDP. That's decent. More Australians travelling overseas compared with international tourists visiting Australia. Well, there you go. Well, are you planning on a holiday? You can see I'm in a holiday mood. I've got my Hawaiian shirt on today. For us, we were planning to go on a camping trip. We wanted to go down to where the bushfires were, to spend some money in those economies now. Now I'm thinking maybe we need to go up to the sunny coast, somewhere which is going to be hit by tourism there to go on a trip there. I mean, for us now, with the size of our family, the only option we have is camping. That's my holidays now for life, guys. And camping's gotten bloody expensive too. But yeah, that's the way it is. So what are you planning to do? Are you planning to go on a holiday regionally to help support the local economy? Or can you just not afford that luxury? Even my cheap-ass camping, that still adds up. Going away for a couple of days a week, you're getting close to burning through $1,000. When you add everything together, the food, the petrol, the camping fees, then the kids want toys and ice creams when you're going for a walk. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys, in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us using Gold Pass or PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I think I need another shot of coffee, and I'll see you next time.